All right, as a continuation from our two-dimensional array introduction, I want to go over how to traverse this two-dimensional array. So we've talked about when we were dealing with nested loops, how we visualize things as being in a table. So actually, we're going to kind of marry these two ideas of nested loops as visualizing as a table and a 2D array, which we also visualize in a table. We're going to marry these two concepts together to traverse. So remember, when I'm talking about, or when I say the word traverse, I mean that I want to systematically visit all the elements in my two-dimensional array. And in this case, I just want to print out the contents, and then we'll do something a little bit more interesting with it. Okay, so I'm actually going to get rid of these 3 lines of code. I have a two-dimensional array already set up. In my previous video, I showed that I want the values to match my comments, so 7, 8, and 9. So I have my two-dimensional array that has the contents 1 through 12 in it. So I want to print it, and I want it to look just like these comments up here. So my outer loop is actually going to represent my rows. So I'm going to say int r is equal to 0, and I'm going to say r is less than the number of rows that I need to traverse, which is the constant variable rows. And I'm going to say r plus plus. For my inner loop, remember this inner loop gets executed entirely before my outer loop goes to the next repetition. So I'm going to say for int c is equal to 0, c is less than the columns, and c plus plus. Okay, now what I want to happen is I want to actually print out the value at this row and this column. So I'm going to say R2D, and I'm going to have R be the first index and C be the second index. And to give myself a little space here, I'm going to put a tab. And then I am going to, at the end of the row, I don't want everything to appear on one giant line. So here at the end of my row, after I filled in all the columns for the first row, the columns are all filled out, I'm going to start the next row on the next line. So let's go ahead and run this, and what I should see is something somewhat similar to what I have. I say somewhat similar because I formatted it slightly different so I could accommodate for my two-digit numbers here. But let's walk through what's happening. So r is equal to 0, and then while r is equal to 0, c will be equal to 0, 1, 2, and 3 because calls is 4. So it'll do 0, 1, 2, 3. So that means what's first going to get printed out is r2d at 0, 0. So this right here is 0, 0. Then c will become 1. So it's going to be r2d at 0, 1, which is 2. Then I have R2D at 0, 2, which is 3. Then I have R2D at 0, 3, which is 4. So calls at 3 is less than 4. So then I'm done with that. I'm going to start on the next line. Now R is equal to 1. So R1, C0 is going to be 5. R1, C1 is 6. R1, C2 is 7. R1, C3 is 8. And then that's the end of my columns. So I'm going to start on the next line. And now R is equal to 2. So 2, 0 is 10. 2, 1 is 9. 2, 1 is 10. 2, 2 is 11. 2, 3 is 12. And then R is not going to be 3 because I got to be less than 3. So that is our traversal. Now, this is doing something simple like printing, but let's say that I want to do something else. Let's say I want to add up everything. So let's go ahead and take a look at what that would look like. First of all, I would want to create a variable to store our sum, and then I would want to have my nested loops again, so that way I'm visiting everything. So my loop is pretty much going to look the same as what I had just done for printing. So my inner loop is representing my columns here. Now, because I don't really care about formatting and doing something at the end of the row, I don't need to worry about a second set of curly braces here. Instead, I could just say sum plus equals R2D at R and then C. And then let me review over my code real quick because it's, oh, there it resolved. Then I can see out the sum is, whoops, I need some quotes here. The sum is, and then I can print out my sum. All right, so what I should see in my output this time is I should have a table, and then it should tell me that the sum is 78. So if I add up all of these values, I'm going to see that this is 78.